Good afternoon, you guys. Could you please state your names and what your roles are in the club?
Thank you for having us here today. My name is Mrs. Westermeyer Marlin. My pronouns are her, she, and I'm the GSA sponsor.
I am the president of GSA, and my name is TJ, and I go by he, him pronouns.
It's great having you guys here today. Thank you for letting me interview you today. First question would be, what does GSA represent?
Okay, well, I'll start really briefly. So GSA used to stand for Gay Straight Alliance. It has shifted now to be more Gender and Sexuality Alliance. The LGBTQIA plus community involves so many different students, and we wanted to provide a safe space for them to get together, to talk about issues, and just have a community. What do you want to add to that?
Yeah, it has branched off a little bit, and I'm happy it has because it includes way more people. It feels like to include everybody, even if you're not a part of the LGBT community.
Yeah, so to be clear, this is not just for students or teachers or anyone who find themselves in the LGBTQIA plus community. It's for all genders, all sexualities, and I think sometimes that confuses people, but it's meant to be supportive of that community.
That's very, very good. How many years has this club been running?
As we look at each other. I know it was before my time in the school district. I've been here 4 years. And I believe Mrs. Marsat, my predecessor, ran it before me. And then Mrs. Boddicker had it. And then I've had it myself for a little over a year. So it's been several years now.
Yeah, I was in it with Miss Boddicker as the sponsor, and then with Miss Westermeyer.
Speaking of how long it has been going, how do you guys feel the club has grown in the years that it's been running?
I believe it's grown a lot, actually. From my freshman year, we didn't really do many things. We were in the parade, which we need to get that started up again. But I feel like we've grown a lot because now we're more involved in our school, and I feel like we're a little more involved with the community, with guest speakers and things like that.
I would say just numbers really have grown. We've had a lot of students come from the middle school that have really found their kind of calling in this little community, and it's really nice to have them all together and feel safe and comfortable being themselves.
A question that gets asked a lot is what the colors of the GSA flag represents.
That's a great question. Do you want to speak to that? Look, we have an example.
So starting over here, this is part of the trans flag to incorporate like gender identity and things like that.
To be clear, this is the progress flag.
Yes.
It's not specifically one sexuality or type.
Yeah.
This one, see, as he, see, we work on pronouns here, said, we've got the trans, right?
Yep,
on the
trans.
side. Then the black and the brown for race relations.
Yes.
And then we've got all the
And
colors.
then the rainbow is to just include everybody in the community.
Yes.
Miss Westermeyer, what made you want to sponsor this club?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I've always been very supportive of this community and felt like it was something that really needed to be here in the school. The sponsorship position had opened up, and I saw that it was open the beginning of last year, and then I assumed someone had taken the sponsorship, and then about January, February, I realized that was not the case, and I was like, oh, I should really get involved with that. And then I also have a stepchild who is a part of the community, and I thought that would be a really supportive way to be there for him. And yeah, just sort of organically came into place. It was great.
Now, TJ, I'm aware that there are polls that happen whenever you decide who becomes president. What made you want to run for president of GSA?
Actually, I ran last year because no one else did. So I've been president my sophomore, now junior year. And I just feel like I have a lot of leadership in a lot of the clubs, groups, teams I'm in. So I figured it'd be really nice to come here and just help share my knowledge and make people feel comfortable about being here.
And to be clear, he was the only one that ran for president because everybody knew he'd do a great job and didn't want to run against him. And he has done a very good job.
Thank you.
Now, this past week, during the month of February, you guys did candygrams. Could you guys please elaborate on what the candygrams are and what the money that was collected, what it went towards?
Sure. Do you want to speak to that or you want me to?
Well, this is our second candygram.
For this year.
Yeah, this year. We had one more toward Thanksgiving.
It was around that time, yeah.
And it's just to collect money towards GSA for anything that we really need, or like we have this GSA camp that we've
Pride
always been
camp
looking at.
Is what we're really focusing
Yeah.
on. Yeah, so just like he said, we've done 2 fundraisers this year for candygrams, and they're really fun because it's a way to, any student can deliver a little candy package to any student or teacher. It's really fun to get one. And so we thought we'd do that as a fundraiser, and the money, like he said, goes toward Pride Camp, which is where hopefully we can send one student. It takes place in Upper Iowa, and it's just a camp supporting those students, talking to them about just society, laws that are being looked at, and just providing them a place where they can have a good time with people like them.
Now, on the topic of society, are the members of GSA making positive moves in society despite all of the criticism that comes along with it?
Gosh, I would say so.
Yeah, we've had a lot of criticism and a lot of things going against us, but we've all been strong and just communicated with each other or any admins if needed, and I think it's all went pretty positive.
Yeah, and I would say that the students find support in this group, not only for being a part of the LGBTQIA community, but that's only one facet of their lives. We talk about all kinds of things in GSA, home support, school support. Do you need to talk about someone or an experience that you're having? Like, we really try to be supportive of the whole student, and I think that that's been really helpful.
Have there been any mentors for either of you on this journey with this group?
I would say yes. We've had a few teachers that have been
Yes.
very instrumental in visiting and providing positive support and energy. And we've had some guest speakers come in that were faculty members, and even our administration has been really supportive anytime we've had any concerns. So I would say those would be my list of mentors.
I agree with that. We had a few teachers come in, and they were pretty awesome to have in here because it just felt like the students could relate with their own teachers. And she's probably one of my favorite people to talk to because I can tell her anything, whether it's the craziest thing in the world, and she is like, well, I'm going to help you through it. So,
Well, that's really sweet.
you're
But yes, that's my goal with all of them in the club or not in the club. I mean, I've been a teacher for well over 10 years, and that's always been my goal, is to make sure that they feel comfortable and safe talking about anything, but especially this group, because they don't always feel comfortable and safe. So,
Well, it sounds like this group is very connected in and outside of the club.
yeah, we try.
very.
Now, before we end, I'm sure there's a lot of people who would like to know about future projects coming up or goals, anything that is coming up with this group.
Sure. What do you think?
So, like I said earlier, getting back into the parade so we can be more into the community itself.
To be clear, the Labor Day parade, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Labor Day and homecoming.
Homecoming too, yes.
Yes. I feel like we have other stuff, but I'm like blanking.
Our main goal is to get enough fundraising in to send a student to Pride Camp this year, and if we can squeeze it in, some guest speakers. I'm looking into the annual Governor's Conference. I don't know if we'll have the funding for that and Pride Camp. So just some little things, but mostly just getting together as a community and having a supportive group.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys have some amazing plans coming up in the future. Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing this interview with me. Have a great rest of your guys' day.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your support.